you. Another witness, Mr. Flynn.
I do. The next witness is going to be Paulette Cooper. I'd like to put a couple of documents quickly on the overhead projector, if I could.
How many documents do you have just for the... About?
We'll put...
approximately.
We'll put about 5 or 6 on. Kevin, why don't we start with Project Owl? This, in interest of time, we're going to really narrow this down. We're going to put the entire exhibit into evidence. Some of the exhibits involve the ops check sheet on play demoing things like Mr. Mayer was talking about how they do it, the documents they have to read. Some of the documents involve how to commit a burglary, the various steps, discussions and lessons on lock-picking devices, how to use them with descriptions. Some of the documents involve things like making an evaluation of what has been a successful and an unsuccessful action, and they include things like burglarizing, larceny, smearing, covert third-partying, launching anti-press campaigns, tracing individual reporters, various types of harassment, things like that. They're multi-page documents, and I'm not sure we have the time to go into them. The Commission will have them all at their disposal, and for instance, one of the documents is lists of agencies across the country that the organization is going to burglarize and steal documents from, and it contains the name of just about every national agency that you could probably think of. The first exhibit on the projector is an operation called Project Owl. And in that operation, I would refer you to second page. Well, you see there's an example up there of major targets. They handle the attacks being generated out of the Wise refund cycle, both with Wise and his attorney and at the Suffolk County DA's office, and then it goes through various primary targets, and there's some names: Deke, Gary B., Kathy B., all of which the witness could give direct testimony on if we took the time. If you go over to the second page, you'll see a heading under Vital Targets, and then going down to Operating Targets. You see ODC and time tracks done on the following. That's overt data collection: Stanley Cass, Attorney John Lynch, John Wise's father, Reverend Steves, and then there's some others penciled in there, including Thomas Dwyer, who happens to be a colleague of mine from law school, who was then in the Assistant District Attorney's office. And then number 2, you will see obtain Cass's files on, then in parentheses, via FSM, which is field staff member, or other means as appropriate, of which there's been testimony.
A, John Wise. B, Scientology. And Doc Cass is a medical doctor from
Boston, Belmont, Massachusetts, upon which Miss Cooper will testify because it was her doctor. And then number C is others as needed, parenthesis, including Paulette Cooper materials not previously obtained, which would suggest that they had already gone in before that. Clip Stanton files, CAF personal files, material on deprogramming, Mrs. Elaine Lieberman, Ben Rochman, International Foundation for Individual Freedom, IFIP, IFIF, Return to Personal Choice, Dr. Taylor and Ted Patrick. Do CDC, that's Covert Data Collection on CAF for data on his book, Fish for Leads at CAF Knows Wise, and/or Stanton, use CAF to establish lines into other areas for CDCs, etc. What the Commission needs to be aware of in the context of all of this information is that this is just one project of which we're getting a little more specific. And that entire project will go in as the next exhibit. Operation Freakout is a multi-page exhibit which the Commission can read with regard to very specific instructions as to who is to do what in order to carry out this operation, which the reading of which is rather remarkable. But first item of attention is under major target, right at the top, to get PC incarcerated in a mental institution or jail, or at least to hit her so hard that she drops her attack. I would suggest to you that the Project Owl was a part of Freakout when they attempted to obtain Miss Cooper's psychiatric files from Dr. Kath in order to put her in a mental institution or jail, of which she will testify. And I would also direct the Commission's attention. We'll have to go back to Owl and put the last page of Owl on a transparency. And as you can see, there's all kinds of very specific instructions of what they do, when they do it, et cetera, et cetera. But going down to the bottom, you'll see a name at the bottom, Mike Cooper. Mike Cooper is Mitchell Herman, who is one of the individuals who has been convicted and is now in jail, and he was the guardian of the Southeast U.S. sect during this period of time, which is Clearwater, and this particular project originated in your city.
Mike, these people seem to have an affinity for infiltrating district attorneys' offices. Would you give any information or any documentation, I've seen some, as to the information or infiltration that was either gained or the office infiltrated for our state attorney general, Mr. Russell, or for the local office? Was it ever targeted, or do you have documentation to that effect in the Clearwater documents?
Yes, as I say, we've got a whole separate packet just on Clearwater, which is 2 or 3 inches thick, which is, I would suggest to you, just a mere sampling of some of the documents. All the red docs data was never received. Another 70 or 80,000 documents are up in the clerk's office in Washington, D.C. under seal. These documents are not under seal. And the documents that have been under seal have never been viewed by my office, and I don't know who else they've been viewed by, but I would suggest that there may be other documents pertaining to Clearwater.
I'd just like people to know that RDA office is also a target, or at least in a document, a projected target for infiltration.
Oh, yes. The exhibits that are in the Clearwater packet start right at the beginning with Operation Normandy to take over the city of Clearwater, outlining all of the offices that are going to be infiltrated and documents are going to be stolen from, people are going to be planted in. There's probably 30 or 35 such offices. We'll reach that at a later point in time, but they're all laid out very clearly in Operation Normandy. And you might remember that Normandy was a beachhead in World War II, and and Clearwater was a beachhead for Hubbard.